following public service announcement is being brought to you by the good folks that support the dope. It's told by D2G and Red Young. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's over something like a phenomenon. It's food for thought for those starving through Ramadan. Nothing less than the best, that's what you rockin' with. So take notes on this newness, cause you'll be jockin' in. Precious of the bunch, plenty game that we put you on. Fashion, music, we give it to the goods gone. Keeping up with the time, so you'll be in the know. Nothing but exclusives, heads up on who's next to blow. It's only dopeness we give to the masses. The promise guaranteed, ain't no pushing the whackness. So say your theatrics for plays if you've been a hater. Plus the lovely Carly Brown's your facilitator. Lead the water when we bring that fire. Here's the industry biz #1 supplier. Boy, them other stations don't want no smoke. Keep your ear tuned in and support the dope. Yeah, looking at my clock and it's about that time. 7:30 Central when we hit online. And we coming to you live from the ghost. So tell your people settle in and support the dope. Yeah, looking at my clock and it's about that time. 7:30 Central when we hit online. And we coming to you live from the ghost. So tell your people settle in and support the dope. The show.
You are now tuned in to Support the Dope Radio, which was designed to give a platform to the best, most talented, and dopest artists in the city of Chicago and equip them with the power to tell their own story in their own words. Today is Tuesday, August 29th, 2017, and this is Season 3, Episode 5. I am your host, your homegirl, your hostess with the mostest, your A-Spoon Coon, all that good stuff, CB, or CB Radio. If you're tuning in live via the Spreaker app or Spreaker.com, feel free to jump in and leave your comments or questions for tonight's guest using the chat feature. Feel free to say hello to me as well. I like that. Tonight's guest is no stranger to Support the Dope Radio, as he was a guest on the very first season. He's also no stranger to the live music scene in Chicago, having performed at Red Kiva for Refuge Sundays, as the musical guest for the Tequila Tales, and through his own shows with his band he calls The Xperience. And for the past year, he's put on 8 productions. Count them, 8 productions of Brooklyn Meets Chicago, the Jay-Z tribute. And when I asked him how he would like to be introduced, he simply said he makes music for the people. I heard that. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Christopher LeMark.
Thanks for having me, Carla. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. I definitely like Support the Dope.
Appreciate it. Yeah, for all of you who don't know, Chris is one of the main reasons I've been back in Chicago so often since I left. I'm always back for something, Christopher LeMark, but it's good.
You still live here.
Yeah, right. I have like dual residency, so dual citizenship, I should say, in Chicago and Atlanta. Yes. But yeah, y'all know Chicago's my heart. I will be back. Never forgotten. But yeah, so how are you feeling today? I know that I was kind of joking around on Facebook earlier before I got on the show, and I was like, I never seem to get through an entire season without having an episode where I feel like I'm coming down with something and I'm getting sick. So I'm going to hope for the best on the show, try not to cough in everyone's ear. But the fun part is by the end of the show, I just might sound like T-Boss. You never know. So stick around for that. But how are you, Chris? How is life? Like, I think you're in a really good place right now, right?
Yes. Honestly, Carla, life is good. I'm in actually a special place.
Yeah.
Just being able to connect with my family and to build bigger relationships, and I feel like from the music standpoint, it's an interesting season because I see things are actually moving. I can see the hard work, the consistent work paying off. So I'm just enjoying the moment, and I'm having a great time being present. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's harvest season. It's time to reap those fruits of your labor. So I'm definitely proud of what you're doing. I'm excited to see your journey. I'll be there along the ride, I'm sure. But let's go back. Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning for the people that didn't hear you on season one or unfamiliar with you. You're an MC from Chicago.
Hmm.
Where did you get your start with music?
Honestly, as a kid, like I grew up listening to Michael Jackson, Prince, yeah, all these artists, right? But the older I got, I started to discover these, like this crazy desire to like write. And so it was around 18, 19, I started to write poetry, and then that later turned into just songwriting. And then I say about 99, 2000, I started to write hip hop consistently. And I say by 2005, that was the year when I knew that I was supposed to be like a live performing artist. And I started to just run from there. But yeah, it was a state of progression. And it didn't happen like most of my friends. They knew as a kid, they knew that music was their thing. For me, it happened. I was 18, 19 years old. So, and it just progressed to where we are now.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Michael Jackson because I should have started the show with the Michael Jackson song. Happy birthday to the King of Pop, Michael Jackson.
Yes.
May you
Yes, the
R.I.P.
king of everything.
Rest in pop. Definitely, I
Right.
think an influence for anybody that heard him or saw him. It was kind of unavoidable.
Yes.
You couldn't hear or see Michael Jackson and not feel something, right? So, he definitely influences a lot of, my musical taste, my dance and choreography taste, and just a very great artist and spirit we lost in Michael Jackson. So today we celebrate you. Happy birthday. Glad you mentioned that. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about like your history in music because I know for a period of time you did leave Chicago and you went to Kenosha. What kind of experience was that? Like I know you worked on Project Yellow. Tell us what that was about.
Yeah. Well, moving to Kenosha was, I would honestly say, like, it was a God thing. I grew up a lot in Kenosha.
Hmm.
I felt God wanted to isolate me, so he can have his way with me. And a lot of times, when you're living in the city and you're around all of your friends and everything that's familiar, it's hard for you to really hear what God is trying to say to you. And so when I moved to Kenosha, honestly, it was a chance for me to get close to my family. Like my sisters was living there. And I just felt like God was doing something with my heart. And I didn't really want to do music anymore. Well, at least get on stage and perform. Like I still had a desire for it, but I felt compelled to put all of that creative energy into like a bunch of young people. So I started this company called Yellow. And I had about anywhere between 15 to 20 young people, all different races, various ages from 14 to 21. And I was able to teach them all the things I knew about music, from writing to performing to just some of the basic business things that I feel like every artist needs to know. And it was a great time. We did a lot of work, a lot of rehearsal, a lot of sessions to get to know them as artists and people. And one of the major success of Project Yellow, we were able to put them in front of 10,000 people in Milwaukee on Summerfest grounds. Mm-hmm. And I felt that was cool. These kids were performing in their bedroom. And so to have them come from that place to learn how to perform and wipe away their fears and performing in front of all those people was amazing. And so, so that was Project Yellow, happy, creative art. That was the whole vibe of that. Just trying to teach young people to step out, and it was an amazing time.
Yeah, that's dope. Was it hard to leave? I know before you left to go to Kenosha, you had already started to develop a following in Chicago based on your performances that you had been doing on the live music scene, like at Red Kiva. Was it hard to just back away, like kind of leave that fan base that you had, grown at that time to just say, like, I'm just going to pick up and go to Kenosha? Was that difficult?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. I honestly felt like I had no choice. A lot of doors were closing. and I felt God was tugging on my heart like the Muda Kenosha. It was the last place I wanted to go. And yeah, I felt like I had worked so hard building like this base of people that was that were consistently like following me.
Right.
And now I pack up and I move to Kenosha, and I lived there like 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine all the work I put in, right? And I move away, and I come back. Now I have to do more work because time changed, right? You know,
Right.
I still had some supporters, but time changed so much, and I had to find a way like to reinvent myself.
So what made you,
Yeah, it was
at what point did you decide now's the time to go back to Chicago?
I had lost some very important people in my life. I had lost my godmother in 2012, and I kept working. I kept pushing yellow. And then July 2013, I lost my mother. God bless her. And then I kept working. In 2014, I actually lost my godfather. So within like a year and a half time, it was just so much. And I knew at the time, after I lost my godfather, that I didn't have anything left to give to Yellow. I felt I couldn't do anything for these kids because, mind you, when I lost my godmother, my mom, I never stopped working. So after a while, I felt I had no capacity for anything else because I never allowed myself to breathe. So once I put Yellow to the side in 2013, 14, I put it to the side. I started to think about, my life and my goals and my dreams and like my own music. So I would say at the top of 2015, I started to plan, my exit from Kenosha and my reentry back into Chicago. And so, yeah, and I just started writing out the vision of what was next. And that's when the Christopher LeMark Xperience came into play.
Nice. So when you started to put together the Xperience, what was in your plan, I guess? Like I know that people when they're, seeking a band, they hold auditions, but they might have a certain sound they're looking for or a certain type of person you're looking for. What was part of that vision for the Xperience?
Well, I knew I always wanted to have a mini orchestra. But, I'm thinking, how am I going to do that, right?
Right.
So I had a guy who approached me by the name Willie. And Willie is one of the drummers at Pastor's Hannah Church. And he had reached out shortly after I dropped my album, Chasing Forward. And he was just like, this album was great. I think we should do some work together. And ironically, I had already started writing a vision of coming back to Chicago and putting together like this experience. And so he was a drummer, a phenomenal drummer. Mm-hmm. He was very motivating, and we planned him. It was him, my buddy Bobby. We all got together and said, hey, here's what we're going to do. He's going to reach out to his people, which he had 3 other musicians, and we all got in one room at Phonology Studios, and we said, we're going to build this sound around my music, and we're going to create an authentic sound around all the music I have created. But in the process, we're going to also hold auditions, and we're going to, audition like the right musician, the right vocalist to create like the experience. And that was a process because even though we had an idea of what we wanted, you never know how to deal with, like the incidentals. Like you may have an artist or a musician that's talented, right? But you guys may not gel together, or they may not believe in the full vision, or they may be talented, but they don't study like the music, or they're late. So it was an incredible process. I think we probably went through that maybe 6 months to a year, and we actually had an incredible band that came out of that. But it was just a tough process because I knew what I wanted. I always pushed for excellence. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was rough, but it was fun, but it was one of the most like incredible learning experiences ever. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Now, do you consider yourself a Christian artist or a Christian rapper?
I used to. It was my intent years ago to be just that. I wanted